Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne, and Quindy, the disembodied hands and spooky voice of the stream. And if we really had to draw that haunted house analogy, I guess probably John would be a spider sitting there watching us. And Justin, he's out back in that spooky looking woodshed, still exiled from the stream, I'm sure. Quindy likes to be spooky. So I know you like to be spooky, Quindy, so I chose a haunted house analogy. Good morning, good morning. Oh, do I have pup dates for you guys? Man, there's been so much pup dating. Like, seriously. You love it? You like the haunted house analogy? Shall we just run the stream on a haunted house analogy? I think that works. I think that works. Whatever. Justin's a ghost haunting the woodshed. Yep. For sure. For sure. So we'll wait for the pup dates a little bit later in the stream so that people don't miss the pup dates. So yeah. Oh, we've got pup dates. Well, maybe I'll give you guys a sneak preview. Let me see. Let me see what I got. What do I got? I got lots of stuff from yesterday. Alrighty, let's see here. Bridget. Well, the little puppy arrived, the extra little puppy. Yeah, sneak preview pup date. So yeah, the extra little puppy arrived last on Saturday, and Zammy, because she's a good mama dog, she has accepted him right away and let him nurse. And so he has been adopted. He has adopted family now. We'll give you a cute. So Bridget went and bought these huge ventilation ducts from Home Depot, and then she duct taped the ends so they wouldn't hurt the puppies. But now they're puppy tunnels. So that's Keyleth, of course, Yellow Girl, and that is the new puppy, Simba. And he has decided that Keyleth is his special friend. So he is fitting right in with the gang. And I just love these giant ventilation ducts. I built tunnels out of boxes for my puppies because I was broke and I had tons of boxes. But the ventilation ducts are far easier to clean. So like pretty brilliant, actually. Yeah, so cute, so cute. So 4 weeks is the cutest, guys. And then our other girl loves to bury her head in the blankets. That is Pink Girl Vex. She's really lightening up. You can see how her fur is really lightening up a lot now. So she's not all black anymore. Like, you can see the different colors coming in, which is really cool on duals, actually. They end up with that dark saddle marking either over their whole back down to their butt or just over their immediate back. But she likes to sleep with her head in the blankets. Yeah, isn't she cute? So apparently this is how Zammy liked to sleep, too, when she was a baby. So it gets a little harder to do that when your nose gets longer as you get older as a Shiloh Shepherd. Aw, Korniko, are you sick? Or are you just like don't want to get up today? Or you just want to go to bed early today? I mean, that's legit, man. So many evenings, that's me. So yeah, so this is little Pink Girl with her snoozles. And you can see her little snow toes. She's adorbs. So I had to ask if Mindy, who's the other breeder who brought Simba, I had to ask if she had a favorite. And apparently Vex is her favorite because Vex is sassy. So here is one of Mindy's dogs, Salem. And she's the mama of the little new puppy, Simba. And this was her last litter, so she's 6 years old. And there is Vex with her. And they're being sweet. So, yeah. So I will admit that I am very partial to Pink Girl at this point. But I am still open to Yellow Girl or Purple Girl, depending on how the temperaments come out. But apparently, Vex is rather sassy and also very vocal. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the cute moment. So yeah, so Salem came in and was really good to all the puppies, and Zammy didn't have a problem with it. So this is Shiloh's. Like, totally Shiloh's. Like, this is why I love this breed, is the temperament is just so good. Like, it's not like universally good, right? Like, we still have a few, like, every once in a while there'll be a shy puppy or a really like sensitive puppy that needs special extra work growing up. But in general, this breed has such great temperaments, like just such great temperaments with other animals and with people and with kids, just seriously. Yeah. So that is where we are. You got your early pup date. I'll do another pup date a little later because there's video. So, but I have to dig those out. So we'll start with Madam and get some of these colors mixed up. I need my Nod Bone. Please tell me I have my Nod Bone around here somewhere. Or am I going to have to just wing it? I'm apparently going to have to wing it because I put my Nod Bone in the other room. Well, that's no good. Hey, Crowley, you just missed the pup date. But that's okay. There will be another pup date. So I'm going to hand mix Nod Bone. And if you guys ever want to do this, you can get something that's very, very... Oh, Simba was a singleton dog father. So single puppy. And because when that happens, sometimes the mama's milk won't come in. And especially because it was Salem's last litter, like small litters are very, very common as the girls get older. That's why our registry mandates no breeding after 6.5 years. Like we just don't. But because it was a single puppy, he doesn't have any, like he was, for one thing, he was crying all the time because he was alone. Like he didn't have siblings. Like he would cry all night. And so he also wouldn't get needed socialization with other dogs. Like there's so many things that puppies get from having siblings, like socially as they development, both they develop up here and just like socially. And so Bridget offered to take Simba, even though Mindy drove all the way from Indianapolis to North Dakota to drop this puppy off, because she wanted him to get socialization. So yeah, so now he has siblings and he has not cried at all. Like from the minute they added him to the puppy pack, like at first he was like, whoa, what is all this? And then he's like, oh, it clicked in. So yeah, very lonely baby. It broke my heart when Bridget and Mindy told me about that. So now little Simba gets 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and he's 4 weeks old. He's only 3 days older than this litter. And so he'll get a chance to catch up. But Bridget said he was so skinny and he's smaller than usual. And yeah, he just didn't have a good start. Yeah. So totally above and beyond with Mindy driving all that way just to do this for her puppy. Like essentially those are her only days off. She's a vet tech. She works full time and she works often night shifts and stuff. So brutal drive. She came and stayed overnight and then she drove back the next day. But now Simba will have playmates and he'll learn doggy interactions, which is really, really important. Like with singleton puppies, usually the breeder has to do a lot of extra work. And even then it's hard for us to simulate like littermate interactions. Like it's really hard. So yeah, it was totally the best situation. And the fact that Zammy accepted him right away, and now all of the other puppies accepted him instantly. And so best case scenario, like best outcome for sure. And now Bridget has her GM. Unfortunately, she couldn't name him Mercer because he already has a name. But the other thing that's interesting about doing this, about adding Simba into this litter, is this litter, if you guys remember, is a mixed litter, right? It's an F2 outcross litter. So these puppies are not pure Shilohs. So adding a pure Shiloh puppy into the mix gives us a very interesting kind of baseline. We have our control now. Bridget has a control over the next 4 weeks to see if there are differences, like right there in front of her, to see if there are differences in development speed or other things, right? For having a pure Shiloh and our F2 litter, which is super kind of cool, actually. So yeah, I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. I'm a genetics nerd. I can't help it. I think it's fascinating. So I'm going to mix myself an equivalent to Nod Bone or something similar, and I'm going to use rich leather for it. I'm going to start with 1 drop of rich leather and 2 drops of pure white. And we're going to see how close that gets us. It should get us pretty close. Puppies, once their ears open around 3 weeks, Pendrake, and then it depends on the breeder and how often you use their names. Name recognition usually involves using the name, and if the puppy looks at you, you reinforce that with a treat or with attention. So with my 3 puppy litter, Kiri's first litter, all of my puppies knew their names because it was super easy with 3 puppies. Like it was just like whenever I touched them, I would say their name, and they learned that, oh, she pets me and says this. So then when they hear that, they would come, right? So by 8 weeks, Ajax and Astra and Andros all knew their name. Let's see how this comes out. But when you've got a bigger litter, Like I would say when I had my 6th puppy litter, which is Kiri's 2nd litter, those puppies probably didn't know their names as well. So this is close. It's not as yellow. Probably because Rich Leather's got, some brown in it. But you guys can see that it's a creamy color. It's not far off. It could use probably a little more white and maybe a little bit of yellow oxide or of another yellow. But we'll see. We'll add in another drop of white. We'll see how that shifts it. And I'm directly comparing the base coat on the model. So yeah, this is definitely more brown. But I have my yellow oxide, my oxide yellow right here. I could also use something like lemon yellow. Because I didn't create Nodbone, I have to kind of try to figure out what the paint mixer used to create it. It probably has oxide yellow in it, but I'm going to actually go with lemon yellow because it lets me throw in even a little bit more white in one kind of big drop. When it comes down to mixing, guys, when you're mixing colors, one yellow is actually much like another. So I'm getting closer. Now I need to bleach this out a bit. So I'm going to actually transfer. The more paint you load into, like the bigger batch of paint you're working with, the less additional pigment is going to shift it. So when you want to shift something quickly, like I don't want to sit here and just mix in white and white and white. So to do it quickly, I'm just going to transfer some of this color and pop my white into it over here. Create essentially a new batch. Now we're much closer. Much closer to the color I used for the base there. And what I really want to do here is I want to create my shadow color because I need to put shadows in. And it was a combo of Night Sky Indigo. Hello, Nago. Yeah, I'm essentially, I left one of my colors in the other room, so I'm trying to mix it. Using my color mixing foo because I created the Master Series paint line. But this is a color I didn't create. This is one of the new colors. I'm going to add just a little bit more of this rich leather in. That's seeming a little bit more like what I want. So yeah, I'm using my color mixing foo to, there we go. To mix up an equivalent for the color that I don't have right now. Hey, D. Clearman from the ether. You emerged. Good to see you. 39 months. That's impressive. But yeah, Pendrake, to finish answering your question, I think the more puppies you have in a litter, the less you're able to teach them their names, just because there's so many, and you're not able to reinforce it for every puppy as much as if you have like a 2 or 3 or even a 4 puppy litter, where you are able to work with a puppy. You have more time to work individually with the puppies, so it really depends. Alrighty, so now I want my Night Sky Indigo, which is around here somewhere, I hope. Oh wait, I put it over here with the indigos. That's right. There it is. Forgot I switched my indigos to another part of my drawer because I ran out of room for them with the purples. Because there's too many beautiful purples. So what we're doing here is we are taking a color that is kind of an orangey yellow, a pale orangey yellow, and we are adding in a purple with a bit of blue in it. So we're essentially creating our shadows by doing a complementary color mix. So I'm going to put a little bit of this indigo over here. I'm just going to mix myself up a puddle so that I can just add little bits. And I'll throw some water in there to keep it good. All right, and then I'm going to use this color and that color. I'm going to mix them together and see how close I get to my swatch that I did here. I'm going to bet it's just going to be a tiny bit off, but not too much. So start mixing that in. I need more blue. That's much closer. Really close, actually. A little bit more. I like just having the puddle of the indigo over here to test. So we've got that and that. And we'll put that down. And as you can see, that's really close. That is more than close enough to use in this color scheme. It is a little bit different. It's not quite as warm. It's a little more grayed out. There's not as much yellow in it. But you know what? That is close enough. Like, don't ever, when you're mixing colors, you do not need to get exactly the same. You just need to get close enough. On the model, for a shadow, that's going to look just the same as the original color. And that's why I like having these swatches, is I can put that little new dot there next to the color, and it'll let me know how close I am. Because it's really hard to tell. When you look here, it looks too light. But you got to remember, it dries differently. And so having a swatch of your original mixed together lets you do that, which is why I like to do these card things. When I do a special mix, and it's especially when it's colors that I don't necessarily, use a lot. Whoa, 32 months with Prime. Incredible, Crowley. Like, super awesome. Thank you. Alrighty. So let's use this shadow color and put some shadows on the sleeves here. Let's get in focus and move our paints away a little bit. Focus. There we go. Awesome. So it's the sleeves that we've got to do. And I'm keeping this paint fairly thick because I'm going to be using it in little touches and I want to be able to see it. So there's a shadow there. And painting in the shadows just gives you a bit more contrast, and it pushes home that there's a shadow there, and we need that. Got a little bit of a shadow here where this sleeve comes together. We need that because the model's so small, right? 28 millimeter, you really have to over accentuate your shadows a bit. So I've got that. I'm just going to paint that over the entire area down here. And because it's an off-white, it's a cream color, right? We don't want it to go too dark. So this is, even though this looks like a fairly light color, it's enough because we're using it over a very light color itself. Your shadows will get a little bit lighter. You won't be using the same level of shadow when you're shading a light color as you will when you're shading a medium color. It'll look weird if you do. Hey, you got a song, Shadow Raven. That's perfectly fine. Don't be dissing your 24 months. And especially with D. Clearman in the mix, who has pretty much been here from the dawn of time. He's been here so long that he had to take a vacation from us this summer. I can't blame him. So I don't know, I mentioned this I think on Saturday, but I didn't mention it here on stream, but I got my Signum Games order from the Ukraine. Really nice. Like, definitely there are some mold lines here and there, but in general, really nice quality resin models. I want to order more now. But I really need to put my nose to the grindstone and get some other things done. Now, one thing I do need to do if I'm going to shade and highlight, like if I just want to work my way around with both, is I do need to mix up a decent highlight color. My highlights were going up very close to pure white here, you can see. I got the gypsy girl with the kind of the fortune teller girl with the cards dancing. That one, the prophetess or whatever. And then I got this one, because Puppy! The witch hunter lady with the giant two-headed dog. I can't wait. I'm like just all like super psyched. I did some cleanup on them. I resisted the werewolves. Mostly I could only resist the werewolves because they were out of the ones I really liked. So I'm sure I'll be going back to, whoa. Light color shifted. I'm sure I will be going back to get more. But yeah, I really like they're just I like the bigger models. I think that the humanoids, like they're taller than Reaper. Like they're 30, 32 mil, I think, but they're a bit finer detail, and the eyes are tiny. So they are definitely challenging, but they're beautiful. All right, so yes, highlight. That's right. I needed a highlight. So I'm going to grab my cream color here, and I'm actually going to make it even lighter. This cream color. I'm going to just have a brush full and throw even more white into it. And that will give me a good highlight color. That's an off-white, creamy off-white, which is what I use to highlight this. I'm really not sure. Maybe we need to look that one up. I also wonder if that phrase is actually kind of the root of the video game terminology to grind. Zito, you're funny. All right. So we've got some shadows here. You can see how I've brought out those folds, and I've got a little bit of cast shadow there. I'm going to be working back and forth now between like these colors for when I need to refill, like if I lose my base coat, because that's really something that happens, especially when you're a newer painter. You may find that you put in your shadows, you put in your highlights, and then your midtone has been completely covered up, and it looks really weird, and it's not the color that you originally wanted. So when you're doing this, do be sure that you've got your base coat, nearby, and that you're able to kind of go in and reapply it if you feel like you kind of covered it up. Shadows especially, it's easy to cover this stuff up. So I can go in and kind of tune and make sure that I blend in my shadows. It's also useful to have it just so you can blend in your shadows. And then we'll take our highlight and we'll bring this up. Yeah, David ordered one of the Norse Celt kind of humans, the female shield maiden with the sword and the shield with the Celtic trefoil on it. He already has her painted because I was busy this weekend. I had a lot of crap to do with my car repair and all the rest of it. So David got a lot more painting time than I did this weekend. I'm going to bring up my highlight here because where it puffs out, even around those shadows, and maybe even especially around those shadows, is where we're going to see the highlight. It'll also help us to make those shadows kind of stand out. I do want to kind of make them recede a little bit. I feel like they're a little dark for the top of things, so I'm going to grab my cream color and kind of make sure I've got a little bit of cream in between them. Minimize them just a little bit. Yeah, there. So they're more little darts of shadow. If I feel like they get really too overbearing, then I can glaze my light over the top. But that's probably a little bit too much persnicketiness for this model since she's so small. As long as we get close, we're good. I think I've heard of Susie Dent. So now we'll put a little bit of highlight here. Remember, we got to keep a good space of our midtone. So kind of really think about where the highlight would be here. Don't need to make it big, it just needs to be there. I will put the highlight along the line of this little dart down here because you can see that it's lighter. You can see the light hitting it. Right, and I wonder if that comes from Nose to the Grindstone. Like, I'm pretty sure it does. But it's cool to see it, like, evolve. Like, archaic phrases that have shapeshifted and been adopted in other ways. There we go. So I put a stripe of highlight around there, and that makes that stand out, and it makes it evident that these are like different sections, right? So that's cool. I want a little bit, need to go up here with my highlight, definitely up on top of this fold. And once again, I got to keep a lot of my midtone there. I won't know until the appraiser gets a chance to look at it, HM Road Dog, and it's a her. But I have to run out and California, when I went to get my ex-husband taken off the title, because I found my title and then I was like, crap, he's still on it. But they're like, oh no, you have to have him sign off on it, and we have to redo your title as if you'd sold the car, yada yada yada. So now I'm running out today to mail the title to Zach so he can sign off on it, because I didn't realize his name was still on it, you know, stuff like that. So after that, then I'll be ready for either to get the title just in my name, or if they total it, then at least I can sign it over to the insurance company. I just don't know. I have absolutely no idea if the car will be totaled or not. I think it is likely. The only hope is that the insurance lady said that because it's an old car, because it's like 13 years old, they may be able to find an aftermarket part for it that is cheaper, significantly cheaper than a new part for a new car. And if they can do that, then there's hope that the elephant, as I call it, will survive. But if they have to go new, it's like $3,000, and the Element is Blue Book is between 2 and 4, and that's if it's working. So I bet they total it at that point, because even if they can resell it for like 3, they'll, you know, I mean, given I've been paying them insurance all these years, so technically they hopefully aren't out money, but I don't know how insurance companies operate that way, right? You have an annual income, but then you're paying out stuff, and your annual income is all these people paying you. So I doubt they look at it like, you know, they don't look at it like, oh, well, you've paid us X amount of money over all the years for this car, so we're not really losing money. They probably are looking at it as a greater, you know, the company profit and the company payout. So to them, this would probably be losing money if they fixed my car and didn't total it. But they might break even. Yeah. I'm sure, Shadow Raven. And I'm not, at this point, you know, like, if I can keep the car, great. My insurance payments are actually very low. Because it is an old car. And I am fond of it. Like, you know, emotionally, it's been with me a very long time. I have very fond memories of driving it cross country to various road trips for dog stuff. But if it goes the way of the dodo, then I guess that's, you know, insurance money I'm not paying. And what we'll probably do then is wait till David and I are married in October, and then we'll buy a new car together. So that we have an option. And then we'll be looking at Subarus, I imagine. David kind of liked my suggestion about the Subaru, so he wants 4-wheel drive. Yeah, dog father, no problem. Right, yeah, actually, that's about right, HM Road Dog. And actually, my tow, the guy who towed me, he's like, if they want to total it, but you'd rather, like, if they decide to fix it, but you want to sell it, or if you just want to sell it without even getting an all rigmarole, here's my number, because I'll take it. Because, yeah, there's a dedicated fan club for Elements, right? They're great cars. That's why I'm going to be sad to lose it. And mine is in really good shape. For a 13-year-old car, it's in really good shape. So that gives me kind of hope, too. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what they've got with, I don't know if, like, the basic Subaru is a 4-wheel drive. Like, I know they are definitely, like, kind of camping vehicles, like people who like to do outdoorsy stuff like Subarus. So I don't know if they just are, like, come generally with a 4-wheel drive, like Jeeps, or if they're, like, you know, if they've got different models, obviously, probably at this point. So I have no idea what's out there. We're not even going to look. We're not even going to look till we get the answer, obviously. Yeah, exactly. I remember HM Road Dog that you're doing a lot of stuff to it yourself. The thing is, I'm just not, like, I'm not that invested. Like, I'm like, I love my car, and I would like to keep my car. But if they just decide to hand me $2,000 or $3,000 to pay me out and just total the car, then I'm like, well, that's money that I can turn around and use toward the next car, I guess. They're all all-wheel drive? Yeah, well, good then. Yeah, David wants something he can use for skiing season when he wants to drive up to Tahoe in the icy cold and slippery roads. Thanks, Dogfather. But yeah, I know they have a very dedicated fan base, and I've always been kind of intrigued with them. And then my mom drove me around in hers when I went home this summer for Lauren's graduation, and I really liked her car. Hey, Lady Kachara, what's up? I'm going to mix up some brown liner real quick, guys, just so I can trim up some of this lining. I'm finding a couple of like kind of globby areas or areas that I could kind of trim up and make them look neater. So I'm going to work with that. Brown liner 4:1 for this model. I'm lining fairly darkly, so I want to keep my brown liner pretty strong. If you want it to look more natural and not as stark of a line, then you can thin brown liner 3:1 paint to water, or even 2:1. 2:1 is going to be more like you're making natural shadows. But yeah, all I care about is that I have a car. If David has his, that I have a backup car in case the puppy needs to be rushed to the vet. Like that's really the only reason. Like if it was just me and David, then I'd be like, well, we could maybe survive on one car. But I really want the option, if there's an emergency, to have an extra car. So the dog car. Dog and skiing car. Got a little bit of lint on here. I'm going to take that off. All right. So some of our sleeves are a little, like I'm getting some roughness. You can see the rough edge there. So what I'll do is I'll take my lining and I'll just adjust it. It's a little thing, and most people would consider this perfectly fine, but I like to be very neat when I paint. I just take pleasure in it. So if anything looks kind of squirrely, I'm going to come in and neaten it up a little bit. It doesn't take long to do it. This edge is also kind of wonky right here. So I'm going to grab some of my paint and try to neaten that up the other way, taking a light color to trim up this dark line. Yep, sounds like a headache to me, Twisted Oma. I feel it. All right, I'm going to take my shadow color and put it just all in there. You can see how I just put it all, big shadow right in there. And that's just because this is totally in shadow. Like you can see that the light isn't going to hit down there, really in our armpit. So we're just going to darken down that area. And another thing I can do is to take the shadow and shade, like you wouldn't shade these each little things individually, but you would paint like the shadow over the top area maybe. Now this is going to be messy, so let me clean that up a bit. And I will have to redo my laces, but let me get that all off since I blorfed that right out the gate. But I can take some of my shadow color and paint it in a little bit in the upper areas right under her bust, because there would be a shadow there. And if you get it over the other sections, it's not a big deal. Yeah, we'll do a pup date. I did a pup date early. There was an advanced pup date, a sneak preview pup date at the beginning of the stream. And I'll do another pup date when we're at like 10:30. Cute puppy pictures. They're at their cutest now, guys. They're officially 4 weeks old today. And 4 weeks is, in my opinion, the cutest time. Uh-oh. And I have a message from Bridget, so I may have another pup date. An even more fresh pup date than before. So just bringing in my highlight and just highlighting a little bit down here. So that way I have a shadowed area and I have a lighter area. So I'm able to do that just doing the overall panel and not doing each little cutout section. Then I can take my brown liner and redraw those laces, and I have shadows and highlights on that center panel. There we go, and then we can redraw these guys. Mostly just a little crisscross there at the top, and then we've got our laces back. Excellent. Now we can work on the back here. Yeah, that's the question, right? If you're gonna sell it, you want to sell it before or after you do the work. I don't know. It depends on your home value, right? I mean, housing values are pretty high right now, but I don't know how much you put into it. So, good luck figuring it all out, Twisted Oma. I know it can be a pain in the butt. Like, we had kind of been talking about getting a new car. Like, David and I had kind of talked about it because the Element is getting older. And I knew that eventually, you know, it probably would conk out due to something. And I wasn't sure I wanted to pay to, you know, it's like when it dies and it's just such an expensive fix. I just wasn't expecting thieves to be my trigger for getting rid of my car. So I'm mostly going to put... I think I'm going to put some shadows more toward the bottom here, since this panel at the top, I could still maybe put a highlight at the top. There is like a demarcation line, a divider line, a seam down the middle, so I'll definitely shade that. But I think otherwise I'm going to put shadows mostly down toward her waist, where it tucks in. Hey, Alpine, thank you for the Prime sub. Oh, a double subversary. Okay, hold on. Gotta be able to clap. Double subversary, double subversary, double subversary, happy double subversary. Thank you, Alpine, for your awesome 24-month sub. And Prime even. I always forget. I always forget Prime. Like I forget to do it. Yeah, catalytic converter theft. The car runs great, except that thieves sawed through the exhaust system to get my catalytic converter, and now it's like, you know, a huge nasty repair bill that I may not come back from. Yay song, yes. Did your kitties have fun with that song, Kareniko? I know they love it. But yeah, so I'm going to take my kind of shadowy color and put that way down here at the bottom, just to make it a little darker, and I'll raise my highlights up going toward the top because I can hit the top of this panel and draw attention to it. It sounds like you have the strategic organizational brain in your duo, Twisted Oma. So either he loves my song or he hates my song, right, Kritiko? All right, so I'm taking my highlight, my near white color, and I'm hitting those top little panels. You can see how that brings it out. No thanks. I don't think that it would pass smog test after that Shadow Raven. And I'm not willing to do that anyway. Like, you know, I keep my car in very good. I don't want to drive a Franken car. Like, the kind of the pardon my French, half-assed fixes that people used to do. I'm no longer into that. Like, I don't want a car that's held together by duct tape, pretty much. You know, it's like I took very good care of my car for a reason. we can't bring it back, then, well, then we'll just say last rates. Much as I love it. Got a little bit too bold with that fold. Oh, okay. Well, that's good, Kurdiko. Yeah, it wouldn't pass. That's what I figured, Grey Wolf. Yeah. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to drive like a car without, that wasn't clean, so. Even if they would allow it, which they won't. Like, I love my element, but there's limits. So, all right. So using my pale color here to kind of sculpt around, because I got a little bit overexcited with my shadow there. And if I feel like it gets a little bit too bright there, then I can always grab my midtone and knock it down. Just grabbing some of my base coat here. Had to add a little water to it since we're halfway through the stream. My car actually is exempt from the yearly mandatory testing. They didn't make me retest this year to renew my registration. I think it's the age of the car. But I am not sure. Being relative newbie to California, I do not know all of the ins and outs yet. Just trimming up the underneath part here a little bit. And I'm going to mostly shadow all of that. So I'll grab my... Yeah, we haven't had a lot of hot. We had hot earlier this year, but it's been kind of like... It's been all right. Hasn't been really hot here. I mean, most people would say it's been beautiful here, but I like it a little warmer, so I like it when we get heat spells. So I'm going to shade that entire section because most of it's going to be in the shadow. I'm going to add just a little bit of highlight with my base coat in places like this, which would get a little light. Hey, Roger. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm we're in a cooler part of the state. I sometimes wish I was in Sacramento, where they get more heat. But people are probably looking at me incredulously for living in the perfect climate and complaining about it, so I'm going to stop. There we go. A little bit of highlight there to trim up that area. Just using my base coat for this. My base coat color, my local color, is going to be the highest highlight I do in a shadow area. Or something equivalent. And this is a very, like, the way that we highlight is very, it's not, like, realistic, right? Like, if I was painting a canvas and I wanted this to look realistic, I'd be doing the shadows very differently. I wouldn't be using my base coat color to highlight a shadow. I'd be using a lighter version of the shadow color. But that doesn't matter so much on 28mm. Like, because we're emphasizing and over-exaggerating everything anyway, there are definitely ways you can do a more realistic paint job on a 28. But there are some things that would just be wasted. Gonna have to touch up her hair a bit because I've been putting my pinky finger on top of her head. You can see the tiny bit, I've got a tiny little bit of rub off. Master Series is good enough that even though I have been resting my finger regularly on top of her head, I have a tiny bit of rub off instead of a ton of rub off like some minis would have. But still will need to touch that up a bit. I also want to trim up this is a heavy line that got a little out of control. So this is a good point to like kind of, if I see that my lining got really thick and I want to trim it back, this is a good time to do that. So thinned that line down with a bit of base coat. All right, now that's, I think, the last panel that I've got to do. And I'll kind of rotate it around and see what we look like. If this one gets done, I'll send it to ReaperCon for Ron. Little highlight here. Highlight, and that's looking good. And I don't have anything under here, but I can put a little tiny bit of highlight to bring out these little crinkle folds. All right, got all that done. That's done. That's done. That's done. All right, we've got our white all in place. Yay! Now we need to get some red, and we need to highlight the tops up here. I haven't done this red. It's still very purpley and maroon. It doesn't have those warm highlights that we had down below. All right, so let me grab my Asmodeus red, which is right here, conveniently. Oh, that needed more shaking. Grab a Kleenex and clean out that well. Definitely had too much water in that. You can see it, that it was not a nice solid drop of paint. So do not try to work with that. Take it out. You can always grab a Kleenex or a paper towel bit or a shop towel bit and just... Oh yeah, I was going to do it at 10:30, Carly. Oh, very cool where you are, Kernika. Very cold. I would be freezing. If I would wear constant sweaters and flannels if I were in your part of the world. I would always be cold. I'm such a hothouse flower. Alrighty. Got our Asmodeus red, which is very pretty. We love our Asmodeus red. We're going to thin it 2 to 1. And I may transfer a little tiny bit over and actually mix a little bit of my cream into it to bring it up to a slightly higher highlight. But we're keeping our reds pretty dark, but we're still highlighting them. So I'm going to actually transfer some of that over and grab a little bit of my cream to make a little bit of a highlight. There. So my color that I made with that are these two. You can see the change. See, you complain about your weather a lot, Twisted Oma. Maybe you should sell your house. Start doing research on other states that have climates you like better. Because it seems like you're not happy with the heat. But maybe you like it in the winter. Because most, like, I know Arizona, the weather in the winter is gorgeous. All right, I'm going to highlight this. Highlight this. Bring in a little bit of warmer color. I usually keep my first and second highlights. Like, I try to do all my highlighting at once. I'm going to go over this area just a little bit again. Oof. Yeah, it's terrible when it's hot and you're sick. You can't even like bundle up under the covers because then you're way too hot. And a little bit of that additional highlight. So just a little bit of additional highlighting and shading on the red. Paying for the Arizona weather now, winter weather now. Yeah, exactly, right? Every summer. Every summer you pay for the glorious, and the springtime is beautiful too in Arizona, in my opinion. Springtime and fall, like late fall. All right, so a little bit of highlighting here. We're just going to work our way around the figure to make sure that we don't forget any areas on the top here. So we're just going to go clockwise. Oh, yeah, in Austin, yep. No, and Tennessee is just as humid. Oh, nice. Yeah, big shift there, Inara. Wow. So you guys, you guys were just signed on, green users in Inara. You are just in time for the pup date. In fact, I'll pause on that shoulder and we will do a pup date because it is 10:30. All right, pup date time, everybody. Oh, and Bridget sent me new pictures. Oh no. Oh, I think this is Pike actually. We have a new one of the black girl. She has such a curly coat still. So a new one of cute puppies. Let's go back. Cute puppies. She's playing. She's a cutie. She has a smile on. Look at that little white chin. She is a cutie. I will give Pike that. She is a cute little dog. So we haven't had a lot of pictures of Pike. But you can see the purple collar, so there she is. She's playing. She's having fun. Look at those little teeths, tiny little needles. Those will be ripping at our skin soon. She is a cutie, though. What a face. So compare like how her face looks to how wide, like, the head on Vex is. So this is Vex and Salem. So I was giving the backstory earlier today, but Salem is the mommy of the new puppy that joined this puppy gang in order to get better socialization. So that's Pink Girl. You can see her colors are all coming out now. She's really, really pretty. She has a little W for win on her chest. That's why I'm like, this is probably our puppy. But yeah, so Salem adopted all these puppies and was wonderful with them. So she's Simba's mom. So when Mindy came, she brought Simba's mom with her to keep Simba company in the car. And then Salem giving a puppy a kiss. I will kiss you, puppy. Such a sweetie. Pike's like, or Lex is like, I guess I'll deal with this. So that, and you've seen Black Girl and Pink Girl, and I have a picture of Keyleth. Sable Girl, Yellow Girl is here. So this is our other prospective puppy, Keyleth. She's a sable. You can see all the black and brown marbling. And then that little nose poking through there is Simba, the new puppy. He has adopted Keyleth as his special friend. So that's very sweet. It's very, very sweet. Yeah. So as you can see, Keyleth has a wavy coat, and so does Pike. But Vex has a very smooth coat. Where's here's Vex sleeping. She likes to tuck her face into the blanket when she's sleeping. You can see all her colors are really changing. So lots of pretty colors on her coming out. That's Pink Girl. So Pink Girl is my current favorite, by the way. David still really likes Sable Girl. So I'll close with, where is a video? Let's see here. Oh, and then there's Vax. Vax is killing me because he's probably going to look a lot like Kiri. But he's a boy and I can't have a boy. I don't want a boy, I want a girl. But he's got the lighter eyebrow markings. And he's got the bow tie on the chest. I think he's going to look a lot like Kiri, and it's just breaking my heart. I can't have that one. Let me see. There you go. So see her round little head. Pink girl again. She's so cute. There is a video. 1 second. I have to find the puppies playing video. Oh, there's Keyleth again. So Yellow Girl, her first time out on grass, by the way. This was their first day, was out on the yard yesterday. So she's a cutie. I know I've got a video back here of puppies playing. Puppies playing in the playpen. Bridget has a big, like, awesome playpen for them now. So it's got a wobble board and a springy thing and crates and pads and all sorts of crazy things. And I know there was a video. Maybe it's that one. Let's see.
You're new. Whoa. Oh, shoot. What are these? Well, wait a second. So, gargles for the ears.
They're cute. They're cute. But there was a better one. I don't know. Darn it. Oh well, they're buried. But you guys got a pup date. They're so cute. They're very adorbs. That's the new puppy, Simba. He's a solid black boy, but he's a full Shiloh. So yeah, so those are all the puppy things and many puppy things. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, they're good. They're good puppers. They're cute. They're very cute. Yeah, and solid black is actually rare in our breed. The reason there are so many solid black puppies in this litter is actually from a gene that's not normally in Shilohs. It's from the poodle. The poodle part of the outcross has a dominant black gene. So dominant black means if you use a dominant black dog and they've got just one copy of that, they will be black, and half the litter roughly will be black. So that's why there are 3 black puppies in Bridget's litter. Normally black is a recessive in the Shiloh gene pool, and that makes it a lot harder. There's only a 25% chance if both parents have the recessive for a puppy to be black. So Mindy rolled the dice on that one because both parents are not black for her litter. And she got that one solid black boy. You just missed the pup date, Nomad Zeke. Just missed the pup date. That's the downside when you're late to end stream, is you miss the pup date. Now we're going to resume highlighting the red on this figure. Yeah, it's like I said, black is very rare. Very rare in the Shiloh Shepherd. Some breeders breed for it, but then when you breed for color, like, that's like the thing that we usually don't do in our organization. We'd like to keep the black and the white. The solid white is also a recessive in our gene pool, but we don't breed for color. It's the least thing, right? It's the least important thing. I actually agree with the founder of the German Shepherd breed, Max von Stephanitz, who, like, back in, like, 1899 said no good dog can be a bad color. He's like, color doesn't matter. And I'm with him. I mean, it's cool to have all this super cool colors, and Kiri was a very rare color combination. But it's like not... Like, it's like if you can breed for black while you're also breeding for good health and good temperament and solid structure, then cool. But yeah, I think it should be the last thing. We humans, we get all over about appearance and cool colors sometimes, and I don't feel it benefits the dogs sometimes. But, you know, Although it is pretty cool when cool combos show up. Vanessa just had a litter with like 3 white ones in it that just were kind of a surprise. There we go. So a little bit of highlighting. Yeah, pretty much the rarer the color is in the breed, the more people want it. You know, it's like, because solid black is rare, there are a lot of people who want solid black Shiloh Shepherds, and white has gotten very rare as well. So, but I don't know. Oh yeah, black and silver. It's just, I don't know. I think I kind of agree with you there, Bill. Like, I'm definitely partial to certain colors for sure. I am definitely partial to certain colors, but I just don't want to like prioritize it. Like, it's very tempting to want the puppy with the prettiest color, right? But I do think black and silver schnauzers are beautiful. Like, I like that color the best. Yeah, that's rare too these days. Black and silver in the German Shepherd breed, because you have to have a fading gene for the red pigment locus. Like, so it's very rare to see a real black and silver. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. See, I don't get that. Thanks, Deadbeat Artist. Yeah, this is a cool mini from Reaper. It's one of their Dreadmere characters, which is kind of their fantasy setting. It's a metal model, and Bobby Jackson sculpted her. And we're almost done. We're almost done with her. I'm just like tackling the leftover red highlights that I need to do up here on the top. So you can see it's kind of flat back here. So I'm kind of touching up, reapplying base coat, and highlighting the dark red. Wow, that's a great, yeah. 21 years old. Crazy awesome. Oh, smoke undercoat. Yeah. Very cool. Really cool, Inara. Yeah, Kiri's color pattern was really rare in Shiloh's because she didn't have the black muzzle. And she also didn't have the black eyebrows. She had the light colored eyebrows, which I'm really partial to. I love how expressive it makes their faces. But that's why I like Vax the boy. I just think he's gonna have a lot of Kiri markings. He'll still have a black muzzle. He won't have all the Kiri markings, but he does look a lot like Kiri. So Kiri was a one in, like, she was a really rare chance though. With all the recessive genes that she had in her, she was like a 1 in 64 chance. Assuming both parents have all the recessives that you need to produce a Kiri, 1 in 64. So a very rare Kiri dog. I don't think there'll ever be another like Kiri. The genes are out there, but they're just very rare. And she was just my girl. We'll see how this new puppy is. Alrighty. So getting this red blocked in. Cool, Bar Shadow. Yeah, there's never one other one like the one you lost. That's for sure. But then you have a new little personality to explore with the new one. They're all different. Like, I've owned 4 Shiloh Shepherds, and all of them have been very different from each other. Personality, temperament, quirks. Colors. So I'm just super excited to see what these puppies turn out like. Like, I'm very excited to see them at their litter evaluation. I will try to put up pictures from the litter evaluation when I go, but I'm usually, since I'm actually working, because I'm doing the eval, I don't have a lot of time typically at them. We're testing puppies, and then we're doing write-ups, and we're discussing it with the breeder and the puppy people, and doing a write-up for the breeder to use when they talk to the puppy people if a puppy person has a choice between two puppies and stuff like that. It's actually a lot of work. Another fun thing we're doing is we're genetic testing each of these puppies through Embark and through UC Davis. UC Davis is who we work with for our genetic diversity, but Embark will tell us, hypothetically, kind of the mix of genes as far as poodle, waterhound, and Shiloh in each puppy. At least hypothetically they should. We'll see. 16 dogs over 25 years. Yeah, different distinct personalities. Yep, they're people, just like people. Kiri was just the dog that would have done anything for me. But I hope the puppy really likes David, actually. I'll instruct him carefully on how to bribe her. Since he hasn't been a dog person at all. I'm just hoping the puppy steals his heart. There we go. Little highlights up on the red there just to make it stand out. Get that upper rim there and the lower one there because it's sticking out. Actually, David got excited when I bought the puppy a puzzle toy. I bought one of the Nina Ottosson kind of brain challenge teasers where it has sliding sections and opening sections, and you hide little treats in it. And the puppy has to figure it out. And it's not easily flippable, unlike the treat mats. So it really makes them figure it out. Although I suppose you could have a puppy just dive into it. That's what Thorn would have done. But it should be fun. Like, then David got interested when he's like, brain games for puppies? Because David loves puzzles. So that was fun. He's interested to see how the puppy tackles the puzzle box. Alrighty, folks. That's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Got our red highlights. Looking decent. Want to bring it up a little bit more over here. Also want to bring in this line a little more down the middle. There's a shadow. Thorn was one of my Shilohs, yeah. He was the horrible dog. Actually, he just passed the weekend. Actually, he just passed at almost, oh boy, let's see, 2009, 2022, almost 13. He was a different outcross. I have a liking for outcross lines. I'll tell you that. He was a different outcross, but he was the outcross that actually almost failed. Like, the outcross that people just really didn't use because the results were too high drive, like too high energy, too high drive. He was reactive. He had all the crazy. Like Thorn had all the crazy. Thorn taught me a lot about how to rehab a reactive dog. Because I had to. Oh, nice, Nico. Yeah. So yeah, Thorn was my real test as far as like. So you think you can train a dog? Can you rehab a totally psycho dog? Wish I knew now what I'd known then, or wish I'd known then what I know now. Would have been able to raise him better in the first place. But no, Thorn was crazy. I mean, smart also, like the craziest, smartest dog ever. So add like reactive, high drive, high energy, dominant, generally just a pain in the butt, super hard temperament, like would not listen unless you showed him you were going to follow up. Like seriously, like very, and the smartest dog I've ever owned. Recipe for trouble. Thorn's nickname was Trouble. We just had too many dogs. If he'd been like, if I had been as experienced as I am now, and he had been an only dog, he would probably have been fine. But he and Leo didn't get along once Thorn got to a certain age. And that made it hard. Just made it hard in general. All right, so I'm going to get a little more highlight down here on the foot of these. No, John and Farah. John Bono and Farah. John was actually living with us. He had just moved to Texas when we got Thorn. So he actually experienced the early crazy of Thorn. And when he started dating Farah, and they were coming over for role-playing games, Farah actually fell in love with Thorn. Farah really liked him. So when the divorce was happening, they offered to take him. Because Farah was like, yes, I finally can have Thorn. And John was like, oh no. But I had at that point, because I knew the divorce was coming, and I'd been working with Thorn to just make him, a better dog. By the time I handed him off to them, he was a different dog. He was like able to function as a normal dog. He was no longer reactive. And he could just walk into the vet's office and not have a problem. And I was super proud. My vet was like, oh my God. She couldn't believe it. So that was a success story. So Thorny went and lived with John and Farah. He was an only dog surrounded by cats. But apparently the kitties were fine. He actually really liked the kitties. He liked to snoodle them and he liked to scare them. But then Farah's meanest, oldest kitty put the fear of cats into him. So after that, it was all good. They do, as you guys, anybody who's gone to ReaperCon, John and Farah, they've had rescue cats there before. They regularly work with their local rescues to raise kittens that have been abandoned or lost their mom and need bottle feeding and stuff like that. And then they find homes for them. And so Thorn was surrounded by kittens, pretty much. Hey, Plague is an old, ornery kitty, and she has got her claws, and she is not afraid of any dog. I'll tell you that, Kerniko. She is a serious cat. So yeah, Thorn found out what claws were. And he's like, whoa, these things are serious. But yeah, sometimes Farah would tell me stories. Sometimes the little kittens would come and just snuggle up against Thorn when he was in his crate. So he was fine with kitties. That was the one drive he didn't have. He didn't have excessive prey drive, thank God. So, but yeah, he was the craziest dog. The craziest dog. Now I know so much more about giving puppies a good start and dealing with early issues but I learned a lot. I learned a lot on that one. There we go. Yep. Bye, Crowley. I hope you survive. Yeah, well, that's exactly what they're there for. They're there to get cuddles. I mean, they're there to get homes too, but I mean, Farah knows that a lot of people are there from out of state and they've flown, and so they can't take a kitty back really very easily. But they believe in love bombing their kitties, so that their kitties are very well socialized when they go to their new homes. And some people are local, so sometimes they do find a home at the con when they come. Alrighty, guys. I think we're looking good. Dress is done. Just need to do the blue on the gems and bring out the jewelry up there on her hair, so we can do that. Why do these animals have little needles in their feet? I know, right? So I think we can do the blue. It's tropical blue. Let's make sure I've got my tropical blue. Yep, I do. My favorite cool highlighting blue as well. So we'll do that, and we'll grab some cyan. Maybe ultramarine. Maybe cyan. Where's my cyan blue? There. We'll grab some cyan to put darker shadows in. And then we'll build some highlights. So we've got a lot of different colors. I'm actually going to turn my palette on the side so that we have new wells to work with, since we're doing a lot of colors. This happens a lot when I'm in the final stages of a figure. Is I'll mix up a ton of different colors in the course of one painting session, just because I'm trying to adjust and finish all these little spots, and they're all different colors, right? So we had to mix up our creams, we had to mix up our reds, mix up our liner and our white, and now we're on to our blue. So yeah, Carrie, they're not always there. But there are, I know that everyone's, it depends on if John and Farrah have the kittens that they're at the appropriate age and all that kind of thing then. But yes, in the past, Farrah has bought a booth at ReaperCon that is a cat socialization booth. And people will just be wandering around with kittens. And yeah, ReaperCon, pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Yeah, life would not be so sweet without that, which what the heck, yes. Yeah, Hilton is good with pet friendly. Embassy Suites being a Hilton hotel, but in general, most Hilton hotels I think are pet friendly. Alright, so I'm going to mix up some of this cyan blue. I'm going to use it as a shadow. Even though it looks very, very light on the camera, it's actually a bit darker than that. Then my tropical blue, which is my base color. And then I'm going to build up a highlight. Boom. There. Now, normally I would be going for a less saturated blue for the shadows on these gems, but I kind of, because they're so small, I want to really pop that blue and make it show up. So to do that, I need to use a pretty saturated, bright, vibrant blue. And then I've got my tropical blue, which is a very pretty, lighter, warmer blue. That's our base color. Now we got our highlight. And because so many of these gems are so tiny, we don't need a lot more other than a dot of pure white. Yeah, remember the con can be overwhelming for dogs too. Like, if your dog is not used to very, very busy places, ReaperCon could easily be, like, just really scary. Going to do a 2-to-1 on the pure white, which should still leave it solid enough for us to do a nice spot highlight with. If I need to, I'll put one more drop in there. Yeah, I don't want to encourage people to bring their animals to the con. I believe that most of the dogs that come are actually like service dogs. Or emotional support animals. So we don't want it to turn into a zoo, guys. It's not a bring your dog to the con necessarily, but yeah, it is friendly if you're doing that. And then, like I said, John and Farrah buy a booth and have permission to do it from Ed and stuff. So But it did mean I could have brought my puppy if we had gotten our puppy a little bit earlier. Yeah. I'm going to put a dark shadow at the top of the gemstone. Kind of go in the traditional, I call it the traditional Games Workshop method, although it's probably not exclusive to GW. But darker at the top, lighter at the bottom, because on a round gem, light will enter the gem from the top, and then it will kind of pool, have a weird kind of pooling effect at the bottom. So I'll put darker at the top. No kangaroos, according to Dave, yep. Yeah, Dave likes to see the animals. He loves animals. Yep, David's going to be set free to roam without me at ReaperCon, to stay up till all hours as is his wont, because usually he's a night owl, but I've got him on a much earlier schedule because I turn to a pumpkin at 10. So he'll be able to indulge his inner night owl at ReaperCon. Come back with his screwed up sleep schedule. Alright, got our dark, and now up here, I'm going to glaze a bit of this cyan blue over the necklace, because although you can see the blue in it, it could be a little bit better. It's Nod Bone, but the shadow is made by mixing in Night Sky Indigo. So it's made by mixing a complementary color in for the shadow and then highlighted with a white with just a bit of Nod Bone in it. Although I did just... If you watch the stream, Inara, like I actually hand mixed this color. Like I left my Nod Bone in the other room, so I just tossed this cream color back together with rich leather, white, and lemon yellow. So this particular bone color that I was working with earlier on the stream is actually not Nod Bone and white. It is actually that weird mix, since I did not want to get up and go and hunt for the color. Yeah, a lot of people will just keep their animal in their room, yeah, because it is overwhelming if the animal's not used to it. Oh, yeah. Oh, I missed that question. You guys know I'm doing a PDF. I'm finishing my PDF today on scale 75. Oh, scale 75, Brian's dog. Got it. Yeah, Brian's cool. I'll at least save money not going to ReaperCon. I mean, I'll be buying dog things instead of miniatures things. Yeah, I don't think so, Inara. All right, I'm gonna put just a little bit of this cyan over some of this blue up here. It's gonna make it look more blue. You can see that actually if you look. Suddenly you can see much more blue on this side, see? And all I did was do a tiny touch of cyan blue, kind of translucent. But it is making, when there's just a tiny little area, sometimes you just need to go there. You just need to make it brighter, use a brighter, deeper color and go it that way. I'm going to use this actually to separate these little beads up in her hair too. So that I'll be able to highlight them and then it'll look like they're all strung together. And we'll keep it pretty dark on the underside and the back. All right, so now let's use some highlight. If we need to blend anything in on some of these bigger colors, we can bring our Twilight Blue in. Then I've got my Twilight Blue with white. And we're going to put just a little crescent of highlight at the bottom of these guys. So it's not showing how dark. This is actually quite a dark blue here. It's not really showing it. For some reason, this camera gets a little wonky on the blues sometimes. There's my little highlight. And then I can put in a little bright spot for the gem. And if I make this blue darker, like if I were to grab some cyan blue with a little bit of my brown liner and make a much darker blue and kind of put that around this white dot, then the gem looks more convincingly like a gem. So just like with anything shiny, like metallics and the darker the shadow, the more extreme. Now this got very dark, so I'm gonna have to mess with it a little bit to blend it in. But you can see how it just generally is changing the look of it to make it a bit darker. Makes it more dramatic, makes it look more like shiny. There we go. Over here I don't really have room to do anything other than a little highlight on the bottom. Just a little bit of something just to bring it up. But this is mostly in shadow here, so you want to add a touch of something to show you paid attention to it. Back on this one. I'm not painting them that way. They look like that way on camera, Pendrick, but they look a lot more blue in person. Turquoise would not allow light to pass through this way. With turquoise, you would actually be painting it much flatter without the dark shadow. Because turquoise is opaque. It's not translucent. I expect these are actually colored glass is kind of what I was thinking. Because they're big. It's a little too blue to be turquoise. If I was doing, yeah, there is dark blue turquoise. Like there is, it's definitely within the range. But I like a little more green if I'm doing a turquoise, and also some variance because turquoise is a lot of variance in each piece of stone. One of these days, I want to find a model with a really big, like, kind of something that I could use a paint as a gemstone, a big gemstone, like on a bust, and do turquoise because with the brown in veins and the shifts from blue to green, I think turquoise is one of my favorite gems. I do have a turquoise necklace from Santa Fe. I don't believe it has subsurface scattering. It's very, very opaque. The variation in color is due to actual veining and changes in the opaque stone rather than... There we go. We've got some gemstones. Gemstones. And now I will put a little bit of highlights on my little necklace. With the necklace, you're not going to be able to do anything fancy. The best you can do is to paint it and to put little white highlights on the gems, which I can see in person, but which tend to overwhelm on the camera. But there, and then up here on the top, I want to put highlights as well. But maybe just pale blue. I think these are beads. Ah, yep. Yeah, the fast palettes are good. The Gloom Engrave fast palette is my favorite fast palette. I really feel like it's a standout, especially. Alrighty. So you can see the little bits. There we go. She's got her beads in her hair and her gems on her dress and her necklace. And there we are, folks. Like, all I need is a touch up on the hair, and we can do the floor next time. Oh, good, Zeta Raven. Good, good. Yeah, and I've got stuff I gotta do today. I've got to run to express mail stuff and do things. Things and stuff, guys. But we've accomplished a great much today. A great much. And there were puppy pictures. So we are pretty much done. We are pretty much done. Like, unless I forgot, I think I might have, there might be like little bits. No, I feel like we're pretty good. I need to re-highlight her hair a bit. Oh, I do need to mix up gold. I need to do the highlights on the necklace and the earrings. So, time to start our punch list. I'm going to do gold on necklace, earrings. I knew I was forgetting something up there. And then floor, touch up hair. I think that's it. We'll just keep this list, but we have very few things. Yeah, I just decided to go black with it. I just highlighted it basically, Pendrake. I figured the bowl wasn't full because she's got it tilted over like that. And if it was full, it would be dropping burning coals onto the parquet floor. So just highlighted, just black and highlighted. I just wanted something simple. Yep, I like how she's turning out. Yeah, it's just got the ostrich. It's got the ostrich plumes. Doesn't need anything more. I wanted black and white. That's the traditional ostrich plume fan. Wanted to make this a very, very constrained color scheme. Yep, alrighty. So there we go, guys. Hopefully you guys had fun on the stream and saw that we could mix a lot of like just colors off the cuff and have them still work for our color scheme. Yeah, I was gonna say Rhonda today. I'm not clear coding anything yet, Zeta Raven. I need to do a final touch up, but often I don't clear coat models. My bones models I never clear coat, but this is a metal, and because it's metal, it's heavy, and so it's going to tend to rub off, especially as it rubs around. Like, I want to ship it down to Ron. It's going to be in a plane, you know. It's gonna essentially, I want it to stay safe, so I will actually apply a coat of brush on sealer to this, but I'm gonna wait until everything is done before I do that. And I don't do the spray shiny and then go over it with a matte. I just use brush on sealer. I far prefer brush ons to spray sealers these days. I find I can control the matteness a little bit better. And I like that. I like how flexible they are too. Alrighty, folks. So Rhonda's on later. Do show up and give her some love. I hope you enjoyed the puppy pictures. I will be back tomorrow. It is bust day. Bust day. We're almost done. We're almost done with our bust. It'll be kind of a clean up and finish up bust, probably. All right? Catch you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.